Okay, let's talk a little bit about social media here. Strategy, time, and resources. If you don't have this, forget it. Lock down your social media strategy altogether. Kick it out the door. You don't need it, right? So we do things a lot of the time because we think we have to do them, right? The guy on the stage told me to do them, so I'm going to go and do it. But at the end of the day, it takes time, resources, and strategy. And I see it so much that we don't have these things. So what I did over the last 7 years, I've been thinking about this, and I finally mapped it out. And I said, I'm going to figure out how to break this down so that you can go back to your dealerships and have it all in a very simple format, okay? And I'm going to talk about that for the next few minutes. So the simple format looks like this. This is the consumer shopping behavior cycle, okay? And we have to all agree on this for a second. Awareness, okay? So guy's driving down the street, he's got a little bit of rust on the side of his car, here's a bit of a clunk, and he's thinking, okay, this thing's 7 years old, I gotta buy a new car, right? So in his mind, he starts to become aware of buying a car. So he's looking around, he sees billboards. When he's online, he sees banners, where usually you wouldn't see any of this stuff, right? But now, because you're in the awareness phase, you're thinking about these things. So then you go into consideration, and this is really cool. This is when you break down the brands. This is when the customer actually says, okay, I want this brand, and this brand, right? And they start to consider the brands, and there's certain ways to do that. And then they engage with the dealership. And how do they engage with the dealership? Well, through social media, through chat, and I'm going to get into some of these things in a minute. But we're breaking it down so we don't have to think about the thousands of different marketing landscape channels. We can just think about these, okay? And then there's intention. Intention is actually when they fill out a lead form, call the dealership, or walk into the dealership, okay? And then there's decision, and that's the best part when we sell our vehicle. How do we break that down? We want to aggregate our audience, we want to engage with our audience, and then we want to acquire our audience, okay? So I just broke down from thousands of communication channels down to 3, okay? So we're getting there. When we're aggregating our audience, driving people down the funnel, you can use display advertising, we can use YouTube, okay, reputation management. These are all things that you've heard before. But what I'm trying to get at here, folks, with these last few slides, is that instead of worrying about all the different channels that I just showed on one of those first slides, let's start thinking about the consumer shopping behavior cycle. And if it doesn't fit the vendor who's calling you to say, use my new shiny tool, if it doesn't fit inside of that consumer shopping behavior cycle that works for your dealership, then don't worry about it. Put it behind you. Here's a little tool that you guys can take home with you, okay? whitespark.ca/review handout generator. What you do is you type in your information of your dealership, and it's going to pop out a one-pager on how to write a Google review. Now, here's a really cool thing that some people might not know yet. Right now, the hardest part was to get Google reviews inside your dealerships. GMs would say, you know what, let's set up a computer in the corner of the dealership, and we'll get everybody to come over and write reviews. Well, guess what? It was never happening because Google was penalizing you for writing the reviews in your dealership. They know your IP address, so they won't allow it. So, guess what? Nowadays, you can write reviews on your mobile phone. So that means now you can take the mobile phone of the consumer, show them where to write the review, and they can do it on the 3G or 4G right off their phone. So I'm going to give you a takeaway here that will fix something right when you go back to your dealership. No more duplicate content. Guess what we've been doing for the longest time, guys? It's crazy. We're taking pictures of we're using the manufacturer pictures of all our new cars, right? And they're all over the internet, and we have the same write-up for every new car. Google goes, duplicate content. It's bad, it's wrong, we're not supposed to do it, and they kill. I've been doing tests on different dealership websites that I'm working with right now, and I'm getting errors back of like 15,000 for one website. Like my website's got 2 errors, right? And dealership website, 15,000. I'm going, where's this coming from? It's coming from our duplicate content, and we can fix it. You can fix it with one thing that'll help it a little bit. It won't help the whole problem, is to put a stock number in the URL of the new car.